but
we all match. You guys see this? Like, we all match.
Oh,
like, there's
shit.
pink.
Yo, the vibes are...
color.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Forest means
Yeah.
going over
That's what I'm
here.
saying. Like, this is awesome. It's all about colors.
We definitely planned.
We're just so
There's a secret message thread.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
a real thing. I literally texted my friend the wrong number after a year of not talking to him. And later that day, he texted me from a different number. And he said, "Hey man, I'm thinking about you." And I was like, "Did you get my other text?" He's like, "No."
Vibes.
Like we both,
We're thinking about each other.
like I looked at the text and I was like, it was a year since we spoke. Like we're friends, we just haven't like kept up. Like we just busy, you know. I was like, "Oh, I was thinking about you." We literally sent 2 texts and like mine didn't provoke his.
Vibes.
You know,
Damn.
crazy,
You're a wizard.
crazy. We're just thinking about each other. We love
Yeah,
each
you're,
other.
man, you're lucky this shit.
you're-
You're lucky it's not like
You're with
1532 right now. He'd be chasing you down out of the city.
Oh, 'cause
Porch.
my witchy ways. That's funny.
Alright, so I'm gonna do the obligatory cheesy intro. Hello! Rushawn here. This is our first episode of By the Slice, where we bring various people from the community together to power pizza. Today, on this episode, we have Mr. Joe Hunter, one of the owners and founders of Pizza Brain, High Wizard Extraordinaire. We have Joe Cox here, PMA Bike Ride, Joe for Council at Large. Here we have Marisa Velázquez-Rivas, activist, amazing artist, amazing weed paster, does amazing work all around. And last but not least, we have Blue Kind, owner of Franny Cafe, kills it in the coffee game. And today we're all here to just shoot stuff and have a conversation over some pizza.
This is so nuts. Definitely each person warrants their own episode. And we have 3 people. That's crazy.
Oh man, you're in there.
But I'm like a...
You didn't include yourself.
Yeah, grab a slice. Grab a slice. Apparently the camera's not even there. But just speak up.
like there's a camera there.
Oh, snap.
Shit. Well, I want to hear more about your weed pasters. Like, what you're trying to do.
So I actually started not meaning to... do anything political and not get involved in the political climate. But then I ended up just posting stuff and drawing stuff that I care about. And then it ended up becoming Conrad first time he interviewed me at Streets Department was like, how does it feel to be a political, illustrator? And I was like, that's not what I am though. I feel like I just draw what I want and then I put it up. But now it's like, all right, I do see the purpose of doing something like this and putting a voice into different issues. So yeah, why not continue it? Push it up.
What do you post? I take pictures of all this stuff and share stuff sometimes. Like
Different shit, like a lot of queer shit for sure. Like a lot of femme girl butch shit and I don't know, like an array of shit.
shit.
That makes
Have you
people...
seen her work before?
That's what I was asking.
Oh, okay. Wait.
It doesn't really give me that much.
You were at
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
more...
were at Tattooed Moms, right? The birthday.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah,
Didn't you do
I
the?
took pictures of a lot of the stuff there.
Yeah, I did. I did this fucker. This is actually the last.
You want me to just cut to this at this point?
I did this guy.
Oh, you could cut that.
This one over here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the beard
I took a-
and whatever.
That's actually I posted that.
Oh, get out of
Okay,
here!
cool.
You
I
did
see.
We all know each other.
My friend,
You did leave as well.
Lauren,
yeah.
Lauren's
Yeah.
amazing. Lauren, you're amazing.
Nice. Lawrence,
yeah,
you're so
that's
cool.
Lauren.
Shouts out to Lauren.
Lauren's awesome. Yeah, so
Lauren's amazing.
I took pictures of 5 or so of different stuff around and it was
really cute, awesome like birthday party.
It was an amazing, you know,
Like-
and that's the thing. Tattoo Moms is like so important for us. Like that's
Yeah,
where I
it's-
started.
Yeah.
He was
Seriously.
so encouraging. He was like, you know, he
They're
was
amazing.
so
Community.
like keep doing what you're doing, and that meant so much for me to have Robert, just like amazing business owner, like a legend in our community. Just be like, fuck yeah, keep fucking shit up, and you know, we love what you do. So the birthday party was definitely something very deep.
He's somebody that told me to run.
Damn
Before,
straight,
like,
yo,
really?
Robert.
It was like
Robert, you're
within,
so
like,
cool.
within the
Robert,
first couple
tattoo
months.
mom.
Tattoo mom.
Yeah, I've had probably I think 4 benefits there, something like that.
Yeah,
PMA bike ride and my council run. I've had stuff there. Actually, they're doing a documentary on me running for council, and the first interview was the big interview. The first one was there last Monday. We filmed it upstairs.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's very. He really wanted to do it there. Like it's like a second home to me, and I've had so many events there.
Wow. I've only been there once.
Wow.
I don't know. Why?
Down South Philly.
South Philly.
Down South Philly.
Yeah, like when I lived in
Nice.
South Philly.
Oh, that's south.
It's not that south though.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, I think
it's like
wondering
Center City still.
Yeah.
I think it's Center City.
It is
not the
considered-
same
yeah, it is,
niche
yeah.
or something.
How'd you? Can you share how you're getting into the council game and what you're trying to achieve?
I decided to run really because so many people told me that they didn't believe in voting, but they would vote for me. People, and then also like several people said that the last time they voted was Obama's first term, and that they would vote again for me. And hearing things like that made me officially decide. I thought about it. I mean, over the years, I've had several people ask me if I would ever run for office or like activism. And during the Occupy ICE protests, I remember somebody was walking by. They asked me if anybody out there in the protests was going to run for office, and so I thought about it. And then I was when we ended PARS. There's a picture of me on Larry Krasner's Instagram page. I was like doing this, and he was clapping in front of me. That was another trigger that made me think about it more.
That was huge. Ours in itself.
I was
The fact that
there
you were
every
behind
day. It was over a month long. I camped out at least 3 nights outside City Hall.
That's actually the first time I heard of you because I mean, being from an immigrant family, you know, I'm very, you know, I care about this shit. So like, I found you on a news article being like, you know, you guys demanded a meeting. You guys have written letters and all this shit, and the mayor was just like, oh, whatever. And then, you know, demanding it. I don't know. You definitely did something that impacted a lot of immigrants. A lot of immigrants know your name and are very thankful for the shit that you do, man. You did.
There it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I didn't. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Letterman's actually in town today. There's an action to, since he's in town, he's on a marijuana listening tour. Shut Down Burke's Coalition is asking people, like, if they get on the mic to talk about marijuana, to be like, hey, what about Burke's? Can you stop putting kids in cages?
Nice.
Like let's legalize weed and all, but also,
Nice.
why are kids in cages?
See, that's where, like, you know, there's a lot of, like, this, like, conflict of, like, you know, well, we need more white people to stand up and be the voice and help be a voice for these, like, minorities. And, like, you know, a lot of people are like, well, that's hard, you know, that's not my position. And I'm like, you're literally doing it. Like, just do what this guy's doing.
Believe in, like, I mean, you should be using your privilege for good.
Yeah.
But then you also get, like, people that are like, well, we don't need another white man.
No, man, bring it.
Like, I mean,
Please
like,
help us.
all that.
Yeah.
Don't we have enough white people run like in office and things like and people
It's
there's
both and.
people that won't even that won't even give me any credit because I'm white, and they're like there's that kind of thing as well.
Nah, man.
But I believe in
But you just voice it. You
Yeah.
voice it when it's happening.
I mean
It just sheds light. It really does.
using my privilege for good, and I mean like if I'm going to an action that is like run by like black workers or like something like that, I'm not going to be at the front of it.
Maybe take it back.
That's like the people that are
that are involved. Like if it's like if homeless people are organizing something and doing, I'm not going to be the one specific to speak. If somebody asks me to what my thoughts are, that'd be different. But like I always, in my activism, my biggest role has always been, I feel like, being the PMA, helping the morale of the movement. I come in and like Occupy ICE. I've known for coming there and bringing pizza when people are like hungry that are there as well. But like, if people need somebody to be loud, I will be like, that's when I'm the loudest. Like in protests, I'm typically not very.
People are watching. Thank you for. I mean, fighting hearts was huge.
You know what's big?
Juntos is fighting for all those things for about a decade long. All those things that we were advocating for, and we ended cars was giant. Like that we were able to do that. And it was, I mean, that one thing was over a month long protest. It went from 4 different locations. It was at the ICE building, and then it was at City Hall for a while. And then they pushed us from City Hall to the across from Arch Street Methodist, like the grass. And then they made it so we had to move to Arch Street Methodist sidewalk. And even when that happened, they caged off the grass, so no one could be at the grass. And right now, even like over 6 months. It was in August, and still right now, the ICE building has like it's caged up. Like you can't get to the doorway.
Caged up everything
Because of like that they still like.
Kids,
what are they gonna come?
Rats.
What are they gonna come
It's
back?
all getting caged, everything.
Age on it.
Put a cage on it.
Put a cage on it.
I don't know if you knew this, but like a big thing that happened was when you had your event with the Narcan training, which is huge.
My benefit loss.
Mm-hmm. At this benefit, he had free Narcan, and he had someone that was professional come in and show how to like properly administer Narcan and what to do in one of those scenarios.
Wow.
And had it set up with little pamphlets too that outlined what the person went over and how to do that. The week before that point, I was home and it was like 8 a.m. and I heard someone like saying my next door neighbor's address like repeatedly out the window, like very worriedly. So like eventually I like get up and I look out the window. I'm like everywhere, so I'm looking outside and there's a man sprawled out on the ground and someone delivering CPR. And he's on the phone and his wife is really like flustered, like panicking, and I'm like, oh crap. So I toss my clothes on and I run outside and I move the guy out the way and I'm like, is there a pulse? It's like no pulse, it's not breathing, and I'm like, ah. So I start giving him CPR. And the guy was overdosed and he didn't have pulse or breath, kept administering CPR. Eventually, we get a breath out of the guy and like his eyes, so, they're still kind of holding the back of his head, but he's coming to. And someone comes by in their car and they see what's going on. They pull over and they get out of the car and they're like, you got to make sure you have the airway open and like I know a little bit more about this. So he starts helping. They get the guy with a pulse and a breath back, and the ambulance comes, eventually takes him up and takes him away. And it was a week before your event, and I was like, wow, okay, like you have an event where you're showing how to administer Narcan and you're how important it is. And it's like I live right around the corner over on like Hazard Street, right out up behind and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's like literally right outside of my window, So it's like now, like just having that action of like, this is an important aspect of the community that you're living in, and here's something that can help when that time arises, if it does. And it was just kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like serendipitous. Like, I mean, that person, luckily ambulance got him. were able to help, but like then having something like that, an event where not only is it to a good cause, but it's also highlighting what's going on in the community, and it's also helping in a way. You know what I mean? Like by having people have access to Narcan and showing how to properly use it. You know, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you having that.
Very important.
Definitely.
Ever since there's been a lot of talk to the safe house, the safe injection site. Since hearing people that are very anti it, I've been trying to be louder about it and to destigmatize it. At the punk rock flea market, they gave me a table. I was there both days, and somebody actually on Sunday, a pharmacist just came by and said that they were drawn to my table, because they saw that I had a can of the 2 things of Narcan on top of this Slay Energy or whatever, just to basically just to stigmatize it and say that people need it. People, they believe that everybody should carry it. And that's why I had it there, basically. And then she was asking, she said she was drawn to it because she saw that, and was asking me why I had it, like if that was the reason to stigmatize it, or if I was giving it out, or what. And she was saying how many. She gets in a lot of fights about it, like at her work. People not really understanding.
Yeah.
Little context. Joe's talking about how to work with the opiate epidemic, particularly here in Philadelphia. Safe injection site, Narcan being a reversal drug to stop the effect of opiates when someone is in the scenario of an overdose. So that's what Narcan is. And we carry it here at the shop just in case, because at ground zero of the opiate epidemic is just down the street from Pizza Brand. So in case someone does overdose and their life's kind of in balance, we can administer Narcan and it will reverse the effects. That's what that does. And the safe injection, I guess, conversation is going on about probably more location than anything, right? But like a place where people won't, where I guess they won't overdose because it's a safe injection site.
Yeah, a lot of there's just be doctors on hand to make sure that nothing that they don't overdose.
Yeah, we can track.
Also,
that they could get.
that's also a huge thing that people don't realize. Like giving safe, clean needles would make it so there's less likely for those diseases to be going around in Philadelphia.
It's a public health issue.
Yeah, needles on the street too. I mean, even at HH Ranch, I'm going to tell you how many bottles of needles Catherine had that she would pick up off the road to like safely get rid of and safely dispose of. So many. Like she had at least picked up like almost 1,000 needles in the course of like 2 years. 2.5 years. Wow.
I'm more curious. I mean, I know a lot of the people in the neighborhoods don't want it. So a lot of actual people in the neighborhoods where, you know, the people that live there, that have been living there for generations, don't want a safe house. Because that actually, to them, and actually having a business in the area as well, right? To them, it's legalizing and permitting drug use in a way that's making it safer for them. However, still making it a draw for that type of environment. A lot of people are like, wait a minute, why are people on these drugs? Why are we tackling the root of why people are taking it more than saying, oh, people are just going to take it, so this is what we're going to do. It's like, well, what are we doing actually to heal the reasoning why people are taking these life-threatening drugs? Like, I mean, how desperate people are. I mean, my store got broken into 5 times last year.
Really?
Yeah, all my spoons were gone. Yeah, like.
Whoa.
So that was the first time. That was the first time that we were really affected by that. We're always, you know, people come in and they'll take all of our sugar and things like that. You know, 'cause that helps. You know, the edge. We are a kind, welcoming space for people as long as they don't steal stuff. When they start stealing stuff, I look at them. I was like, you can't use the bathroom anymore. You know, I found blood in it. Yeah, or like, yeah, you can't. You stole my purifier, my air purifier. I really liked it. And she comes back. She's like, I know I did. I'm so sorry. I'm clean now. Like we have relationships with these. They're people.
Yeah.
They're people.
Yeah, that's
But
what
like
it is.
they're also in pain. So they're just more outwardly with their pain than we are, maybe, like who aren't visually showing it on the street. So my thing is like, yes, there's so much money and resources getting put into safe housing, right? There is. There's a lot. There's a big budget. There's a lot of jobs. People say, oh, it creates jobs. Like, yeah, we can work a lot of ways. We don't have to just rely on people saying to have jobs. But how can we really tackle the root of the issue?
I think killing it from being a crime, it's considered a crime, because you're not going to get any help if it's considered a crime. Like, you're a criminal now, you're going to get thrown into prison. It should be handled more like a.
And you know that, and you know you're saying this because it's mostly affecting white people. Because you know the crack epidemic,
Well, no,
people are
because,
Or even
still in
70s heroin.
heroin.
Back
People are still in jail.
Well,
So
interestingly enough, in Philadelphia, there's actually a growing brown and black population of heroin users. It's always the white person that's being used as the poster child, for sure, 100%. But statistically, more brown and black people are utilizing heroin, but they're not used as, like I said, as the poster child of like this epidemic. But it is an epidemic that has no color. And I think if we just decriminalize, like, instead of looking at it like a crime, like, well, what the fuck is this person doing? And more so like, well, how can we help with therapy, group therapy, these kinds of scenes where it's not like we're normalizing the fact that you're an addict. And this is coming from a past addict. So I got the assistance from a program that was not a prison, but it definitely was very therapy heavy, and it was very, family heavy. Like, they didn't shut off my family from the process, which is what the prison systems do. You can't work with your family. You're not working with therapists. So this kind of system is a little bit better, where it's still like, we're treating you like a human being that has a problem that needs help, more than like you fucked up and like I don't know. I understand this. I'm all for the safe house. I'm all for any sort of like system that can assist. I feel like it's just the criminal aspect of it that just ruins it.
what I'm saying, let's say there's a safe house that opens up in Kensington. Where are all the drug dealers gonna go? They're gonna go right outside the safe house, give you your drugs, go in the safe house, give you drugs. So that's what the fear is with the people that are living here. It's like how it's gonna draw even more, and then the city is just okay. And you live in Kensington. I lived here for a while. I lived in K&A. We know that the police like to just know where it's at. So as long as we know where it's at, we can control it. And my thing is like, why these people come from out of the city to come here. Not the people that actually live here aren't all on heroin. We're actually I live over K&A. All these drug dealers, they're not gonna piss in their own front porch. They're coming outside to be in our home to, facilitate, because we all know that this area is for that drug. So I'm just saying there's layers, and I don't particularly think that the safe house in general is the
that shouldn't be the
only answer.
No,
I don't even think
it's supposed to be like a stepping
It's not.
platform.
It's definitely
It's
not
like-
the thing. It's
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a platform.
Well, it's based on Maslow, right? Like it's about hierarchy of needs. It's a complex issue because you got to get your basics down, and then you can work. Like when you're in withdrawal, you can't really think about what's really hurting you because you're in physical pain at the moment. You know what I mean? So the idea is that there are steps. The confusing part of the issue though is is it going to be commonplace to find human feces just outside your door? And as much as I think that the people in Kensington want to help in the best ways that they can, they also want to not step on human poop and stuff. This is just something I've heard from the neighbors. Is that it's just there's a ton of trash because they're living out, so they're camping out, and it doesn't turn. I've been impressed with the neighbors. It doesn't turn into a type of villainizing or demonizing of the people, but they do want their quality of life to have a certain to not decline. So the issue is complex, and if you get it too far from Kensington, people just won't use it. That's the other part, because that's where the drugs are. And you get it too far away from the drugs, and people aren't gonna they're not gonna trek too far for it. So it's not a simple. It's layered.
Yeah, like you said, some people are coming from out of the, like I read a New York Times article that was like, you know, people coming from Alabama, California, like traveling to literally come to Kentucky, which is insane. Like I've never heard.
It's wild. And like the cops just sit there. I mean, I'm like I'm criminal system. I am. I'm anti-criminal system.
I feel it.
I'm anti-prison system. Angela Davis is one of my heroes. But like, I just think there's ways that we really need to enhance our community togetherness so we can tackle it as a community rather than relying on institutions to create peace. And to, you know, like this institution that's coming, it's an institution, it's a business, y'all. Like, I don't care what y'all think. It's a business that's profiting.
Ed Rendell is behind it, so it's definitely a business.
When businesses,
That's
I'm a business, totally, but like when businesses like that depend on your suffering for my profit, I'm going to make sure this stays here. I'm going to make sure we keep jobs and keep the need here. It's really, like, that's like the really weird, like, gas that I think a lot of our people are running off of, like, oh, I'm just as organized. And it's like, yeah, but you need people to suffer for your paycheck to be full. So that's where I get a little...
I see your point, definitely.
I'm just a little wondering.
Well, the relational aspect's important too, like you said. You know these folks.
Yeah.
And have relationships.
They're people.
Yeah, and it's in what I think that this is touching on something important where we depend on institutions to deal with like human problems. You know, it's like it's like overwrought. You know, like the government. Like it's a face-to-face type of thing. And all of these things are like when people become issues and solutions become institutions. It's like
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because that's why, again, with white kids get kind of like the poster children for. It's like people were I mean, heroin was huge in the cities in the 70s, but it was like killing people of color. It wasn't like politicians weren't mobilizing. Then their kids got on it. Now it's a problem, and it's not criminal anymore. It's a problem and an illness.
Heroin has been a black and brown problem, honestly.
Yeah.
But now it's like picking up people's attention because white kids
suburbs now. Like it's happening to people that aren't even in the city. People that are way out in the suburbs. Their kids are dying of this.
Coming all the way from
it's a big culture problem, y'all.
They would
because of the pharmaceutical industry more than anything.
No, we give them that power. We give the pharmaceutical systems power. We so many. For instance, even my the people I work I lead I have staff so many of them are on drugs to keep them level. What is up? We're drugging our kids.
That's
we're drugging each other. Y'all, I'm stay away from me. Get away from me.
The majority of countries, I'm living in Venezuela, you aren't allowed to advertise medicine, and you aren't allowed to advertise alcohol after a certain time.
Move it.
So, let's say alcohol, you're allowed to advertise at past 9 p.m., 8 p.m. I can't remember what it was. But, medicine, you shouldn't be advertising medicine. What do you a doctor should be telling you, hey,
I recommend this.
At council, early
I'm maybe I'll try that out.
There was a bill at council farmer reps weren't allowed to bribe the doctors. And only 3 people at council voted in favor of that.
Because they're getting money.
Exactly.
They're getting money.
Yeah. Gary Green he has family in that are in pharma. Cunningham has family in pharma. So I was just I went to Harrisburg a couple weeks ago with March on Harrisburg for a bill to make it so to ban bribes. Pennsylvania is one of 8 states that still allows bribes. And Pennsylvania is 5th most corrupt state.
We think it's okay. We think it's
alright.
Yeah, actually, one of the head state reps that they mentioned, he said it's fine. It's fine. It's fine because any citizen constituent can come there and tell them can do the same thing. They can come and speak their mind. And I just started cracking up.
Here's $20.
Are you serious?
Here's
well, that's not even
against jail system.
Can anybody just take off work and just go to it's just they just are out of their mind. Anybody can just
And who has
People-
the wealth in the United States?
Yeah, that's
Who has the foundation of the wealth based on slavery and like colonization? White people. So who's gonna have the power? People with money. Who has the power? White people. So I'm just saying, it's just like a system. I'm like, this is laughable at the end of the day.
You need
It's
a
like,
full-blown reform of everything.
Yeah.
thank you. That's
But
all
I
I'm for.
feel like
All
incremental
I'm
changes happening like little by little. Like
I do and I don't.
I
we do, we
like-
can.
well, we
where
do need. I'm
are,
saying like we
but-
do need like a lot of major like overhauling of our system for sure. But it's those little steps over time, and I think currently with politics, people are paying way more attention to these things now, and way more attention, like because of politics, to things like big pharma, like big institutions, for-profit prisons, like you know what I mean, like all of these different structures that we were kind of like not really caring about at first. We're now kind of like, well, wait a second, now there's what's going on over here?
We
But
as
it's
in
like-
who? We as in who though?
I think we, as in a younger culture and generation now, are paying more attention to politics, and by that we are now looking at more grassroots and lower levels of politics to get the people that we actually want in, positions of power to be someone who stands for us.
People should focus
You
on
know,
local.
And that's what I'm
Local
saying.
is
It's
the
like
most important.
there's now more attention being paid to local politics
It's very
because
important.
it's
You can move
understanding that rises up. You know
It
what I
really
mean?
does.
That moves through the ranks,
Yeah.
and now with this major, over sensationalization of politics, we're now paying more attention and having more to talk about when it comes to, who are your local politicians? You should vote for this person.
Yeah.
You should look more into what they're talking about, what their platform is, before you just say, oh, okay, like,
Yeah.
I like their
Yeah.
smile.
I like
Not
your
you. I like your hair
smile.
and your
I like
smile.
your smile. It's so charming. Your hair.
But yeah, it's like we're paying more attention to these things, and I think that right there is a good step in the right direction. You know what I mean? It's like it's small changes, but that can eventually snowball into major.
There's just a slippery thing though, because we can see it as a way that we're trusting the system more because we have people that we want in the system. But
They all fall into
One-
the dark side.
that's the thing. It's like once
Yeah.
people get a hold of power and financial
Look
wealth.
at Larry Krasner. He came in. I was like, this is the man.
The institution
Dude, that man
And I would
floated in
say
there.
institution
It's
is bigger.
The institution
It
is
is-
bigger than the person,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like Larry Krasner, regardless of like whatever his ideals are, when you go into a system, that system was in place, very much in place before he got there. He can make changes, but the reality is like the intersectionality of government is like a pretty big beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
large beast.
I think
To get rid
I
of
think
it.
there's like, it's like the city is an institution, so same thing. So how can we be in the spirit of community and faith in that sense to move things while addressing and being aware? I'm glad, slavery doesn't exist anymore. I'm very glad about that.
Makes sense.
Like,
It's kind of still up.
Well, slavery as in African American slavery in the United States.
Yeah.
I know there's lots of slavery in different countries
I'm talking
that
about
benefit
prison
from.
system.
In the prison system. Oh yeah.
That's how
Legalized
it is
slavery.
now. Yeah.
Yes, I understand that these other systems, but you know what I'm saying? Legal reform went through to get people to stop doing hoes and like my children going into that.
Yeah.
Okay. But at the same time, of course,
Yeah.
there's white supremacists just went into the police system and to the prison system to like foster that power still. Definitely. But I do think there is legal things to address, and there is a spiritual component. There's a cultural component, and I think our spiritual issue in the United States is the dehumanization of others. So I can have power. Like if we don't address the dehumanization of others, we will just create systems and it'll seem like it's so good. This is so nice, but it still has that root. So I'm not about cutting off that root and growing a new plant, from somewhere else. Give back the Native Americans their land. Just like do your reformations and education of the Black community. yes, like those are big ideas, but some people are like, oh, it's too much, it's too much. It's like, nah, it's not.
Do the entire thing.
I just am like,
Just burn him.
I'm just done. I'm just done being like, oh, that's just too much. Oh yeah, my daddy has way too much money right now, and he doesn't want to get rid of it. It's like, yeah. That's a good idea to keep the system running. So I don't know. I think there's ways like to step on that leap. So we have to listen to young people. Who has that mindset is young people, young artists, people that we think outside of our situation. We see the beauty in the corrupt, like, and not in the corrupt, the beauty in the dismantled.
Yeah.
Right. We have this beautiful sight. And we need to embrace it and use it and not be scared. Well, be scared. So, yeah.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
No, on that note, like,
That's a good
I
note.
think we,
That was
Well,
good.
leave it,
That
yeah.
was amazing. That
You
was
know,
a nice way to like.
mic dropping over
I
here.
feel like enlightened.
Yeah, you're glowing. You're
I'm
glowing.
listening. I'm listening. You know, we have to listen to each other and understand and filter.
I do want to say lastly, like, I absolutely love everything you do, and your business model is like, I don't know, I just remember reading up on it and seeing what you were doing for females, for women, I think that's, what you do is important. And what you said really struck a nerve of, like, adding this, like, human, like, dehumanizing. That's what people are doing to one another, and, I feel like your business model is, like, to add that back in.
Trying.
Yeah.
You just try where you're at. You just try.
I think you're trying. I think
You're
doing
doing
it. You're
it.
just
I'm
doing
doing
it.
it.
That is something you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. Franny is such a beautiful space. Like, you go in there and you just feel like you're home. And that's something that not all businesses, can really do, is make you feel like you're at home. And like when Billy Penn did that article, and they were asking me about like my thoughts on Franny. But it's just kind of like with like, some of these other cafes that are popping up in like the wake of gentrification. It's like they're lacking culture. They're lacking any type of anything. Honestly, it's kind of just very sterile, blank, like almost like an abrasive place to be.
Like the clean.
Yeah, it's like what you imagine the inside of a MacBook Pro to look like.
Yeah, no, it is. No,
and when you come into your space, you immediately feel like you're like at like a family member's house, and you're like, oh shit, when did I get back home? Am I south still?
There's I think one of the things that you're touching on that speaks to me when I walk in is that there's like there's a real representation from like around the globe in there. There's a lot of people's stories in that spot, and there's a connectedness, which is why I think part of the home feeling comes from. It's not nondescript and super minimalist. Like, it has a voice, it has a face. It's not like giving into like that modern thing. It's got an identity, and I know that like when I walk in there, it feels like all the good movements that happen like in the States and outside of the States. There's like it's celebrated there. You see it on the walls, you see it in the books, you hear it in the music, you see it like in the interactions with the employees. It's like it's a very cool like, and I don't want to like, I feel like if I say organic, that's just too buzzy at this point, or like, but there's just something like people in our community, it feels
real.
Made, you know what I mean?
Real. It's like, you know what I mean? Real. Like,
It's
real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like this overly fabricated thing.
It's human. It's humanity. I think
it's a dream. You right? It's a dream I had.
Oh shit! I knew this.
A
was
vision.
all these years. It's a dream.
It's a idea, right? We have ideas. I'm like, where do I want to be? What kind of space do I want to be in? I'm gonna make that space.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
But like, if more of us do that, more of us say, what do we want? How do we want to live? How do we want to treat each other? How do I want to be treated? Let's just create it. We are creators. We don't need to wait and sit around for some old white man to tell me what I need to do to feel good. We know what we need. Those that are hurting know what they need. You're listening. So I think it's just, And then what happens is, if we know what we want, and we are true and into our purpose itself, then it attracts others. Wow, you value me and what I want? I'm like, yeah. What do you want? I really want to do this. Yeah, do it. And they come in, they're like, I did it. I'm like, I'm so happy. We're doing it. So I think it's just infectious. It's like a. It's
Well,
like
we need to hang out all the time.
Yeah, it's like a light.
See
It's
that
a
energy.
candle. It's a candle, and it doesn't take any effort for the candle to light another candle.
Right.
It just makes more light.
Right.
So I'm like, let's do that. Like, be generative, be excited, get out of scarcity, live in abundance.
So, yeah.
You know.
Right?
PMA circles. So it's like
Council with PMA.
PMA circle. So like when I help somebody like it's living a street citizen or whatever, like, and then I'll ride my bike down Market and like I'm feeling down, and somebody they'll be like, hey, how you doing? I just want to say I appreciate you. And it's like it comes back. It's running around. Yeah, like one day like a week ago I gave you food or like clothes or just even stopped by and asked them how they were doing. And then like
It means a lot.
riding that, and then they asked me how I was doing like days later. I remember like there was one time I almost got somebody tried to almost hit me, and I was getting ready to yell at this person, and then like on the side like this street citizen on a corner was like, hey Joe, hey Pinky, hey Pizza, how you like?
I love that.
And then you're like, all right, I don't gotta yell.
Yeah, it just like killed the negativity like right there.
I gotta use my angry positivity.
Gosh.
Cut me off one more time. I'm giving you positivity
You
by
made me
force.
smile. Dang it. Wow. Oh, that's great. I'm excited.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is so great.
This is amazing.
You all are such beautiful people.
Thank you for organizing this. This is a good conversation. It really is inspiring to be around all of you, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I should be stoked too. Like, bring it up.
Should we do a solidarity clap?
Solidarity?
Solidarity.
Do you want to do it?
We're gonna do solidarity clap, everybody.
You ready?
Alright.
Okay. Do it just one time.
Alright.
You ready? That's how the video ends. That's how the video ends. That's it.
You're just creating. We're creating right now.
That's it.
Genius. That's how you
Calling
should
it.
do it for the rest